Today I'm just going to do a live react. I'm going to play the video, I'm going to pause it, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and ideas. So, also we have a special guest, Peaches, here. And she's being a good girl. She's going to hang out with us while we record today. So anyway, let's get into it.
Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is going to be the Fateless update. Pretty much a quarterly update at this point. 3 months ago since I told you about the last thing. It's actually 14 months since I first did a video saying
I was there.
We are launching Fateless, and now our first game, Godforge, is well underway. I want to give you a general update. All 10 of our launch factions have now been released in terms of who they are and the type of heroes you're going to be able
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
to collect from those. I'm going to go through each of those 10 factions, show you some of the hero art, 2D, 3D, and some of the environmental art that comes alongside it. We're basically in a position that all of our content for launch is now what's called feature locked. So we've developed the different designs for the different features we want to launch with. We've also got a kind of roadmap already of live ops drops of content that comes after that. All of this stuff is already being planned, coded, the math behind it's all being done. All of that stuff is now being basically developed based on our plans at Fateless.
That's really exciting to hear. That means like the game is like the game is like already like the skeleton is there. They just have to add the meat, I guess.
Which is really cool. The whole design team are basically degenerates that love this style of game.
That's exactly what you want to hear from the people making the game. Hell yeah.
Me included, Saf included. There's a whole bunch of us that basically design the game ground up because we understand this genre of game really well. You know, turn-based, hero collector, cool kind of like boss fights, almost some of that MMO feel to a mobile game. And yes, it will be mobile and PC on launch. But yeah, the design team absolutely get it. Okay.
They're building the game that they want to play. The reason why World of Warcraft Classic was so good is because you had fans of the like hardcore fans of the MMO genre making the game that they wanted to play. Like these were the sweaty min-maxers living in their mother's basements playing, you know, the oldest of the old school MMOs, and they got together and made World of Warcraft. So it's really exciting to me to see that, you know, this is exactly what's going on inside Fateless.
So rest assured that the features are going to be absolutely sweet. Still though, if you've got ideas for how to make this style of game really cool, come and join the Discord. We have got over 20,000 people in the Fateless Discord, and we welcome the ideas. I read every single one. Some of those are literally going onto the backlog of
It's a me
live ops gameplay, stuff we're going to launch over time. So rest assured, we are listening and we are improving all the time. So as I said, we're on track to launch in summer 25, summer next year with a...
So if you live in Australia, we're talking about summer for the northern hemisphere, so like mid-year. There's been a little bit of confusion, so I just wanted to clarify that.
Beta coming up in probably March, end of February, around March. You can sign up to the beta right now. We've got over 20,000 people signed up to the beta already. They'll be on this website here, and you can come and get involved. And by the way, you can also come and support the game development by joining the Patreon here, where we've got over 600 members currently. Appreciate everybody who's already in the mix doing that. It literally pays for our community management team. Like, hands up. That's what it's doing.
So like Susie and Crouching Grandpa.
So really appreciate...
There might be more. Actually, I don't know if that includes the people who do the social media stuff or not, but it very well could. I don't know.
Appreciate anybody who is in the mix with that. Now, in terms of like project, we're on track. So we launched the project in its entirety probably 18 months ago, but we started writing code about 14 months ago. We're on track to launch summer 25, which is awesome. We're in this kind of phase right now where we're working with strategic investors. So we did an initial investment round. That's basically how we've been able to build the project to where it is today. And we're moving into the strategic investment round, which we're doing right now. So the leadership team are heavily involved in that, basically to give us the scope to scale to the level that we want to with Fateless. And that's not just with Godforge, but with the vision of multiple games after that as like a full game studio. Now, I've got to say, this is the most challenging, most rewarding, most exciting, like awesome.
He's talking about how it's the most challenging. You can tell his hair is grayed a lot since the start of the project. And I don't mean that as an insult. It's just something objectively that's true. It's clearly been a challenging and stressful experience for him. But I think he wears it well. He's got that Silver Fox vibe going on.
Venture that I've ever taken on.
I think Peaches approves.
And I've done some pretty cool stuff now. I've been very fortunate to be in this space, doing obviously the YouTube stuff.
Oh, watch out for the
building
mic.
out the HH Gaming brand.
Okay,
and
maybe come back over
this
here.
for me surpasses it, but it is tough. Like,
don't look at the
it is
ball.
way beyond what I ever dreamed it would be in terms of complexity to do this type of stuff. Now, you've got to say hats off to anyone in this space that has developed a good game, or anyone who's developed a game, honestly. So much that goes into it. It's insane. So I'm going to show you a whole bunch of the different assets, the artwork and that today, but there's way more that goes into it than what you're going to see today. You know, we're doing a cinematic, okay? That's going to be the opening experience for the game. It is like League of Legends, Valorant, Overwatch.
Something that he didn't say in this video, I already watched this once. I just wanted to give you my feedback on it now that I've had time to digest it all. Something that he mentioned at one point in the Discord. Let me see if I can find the exact quote. Okay, right here. Let me zoom in a little bit. The team creating our cinematic did all the CGI for The Mandalorian. How cool is that? I bookmarked that. I was going to put it in a segment of one of my videos called Simon Says, where I show interesting quotes from Simon on the Discord. So I had that one saved for something. For a moment like this. Sorry. But yeah, they got top-notch people working on the cinematic, which I think is great. Like the Overwatch cinematics, killer. World of Warcraft cinematics, killer. I never played League of Legends or any of the other games that he's talking about, but if they can be on par with like Riot and Blizzard, then they're going to... I'm excited. I cannot wait. I still go back and watch some of these I don't even play Overwatch or WoW that much anymore, like really at all. And I still go back and watch the cinematics because they're just that epic.
Quality. That's the quality level we've hit. I'm in a meeting twice a week going through the different shots. We could spend 30 minutes talking about one shot in the cinematic because of the level of fidelity we're talking about, the feeling we want people to have. We've teamed up with Serena Bell, who's a phenomenal singer, who's producing a brand new track for our cinematic. We've then got another team doing parallax cutscenes. So at the end of a campaign kind of level, we're basically going to be telling you the story of what's going on in our world.
I think these are really cool too. So this isn't the cinematic he was referring to. The cinematic is going to be like start of season, or maybe when a new champion is going to be like a big event that will result in the release of a new champion or something like that. These are like the in-game, like when you play Raid and you're going through the campaign for the first time, you get those little things that nobody ever reads. This is their version of that. So they've kicked it up a notch. So after you beat a level of campaign, you get the story this way, and it's narrated with a voiceover rather than being forced to read it, which I think is absolutely the best way to go. People don't play video games because they want to read. They play video games because they want to have fun and be immersed. And it's much easier to become immersed if you don't, if you're being told the story.
World where these kind of like heroes, myths, and legends all come together. These gods, why they're on the same plane, how they've come to be in the same space, and we've got the lore writer. It's basically what.
That's also something I'm really interested to see. Is like, I want to know how they're going to tie all these myths, gods, and legends from multiple cultures and multiple times and bring them all. I want to know why they're all on the same plane of existence in this game of Godforge. What pulled them together? Why are they here? What are we doing? Like, what is the... Oh, what was the word? Tarnished. Who are the tarnished? Who are the untarnished? I'm dying to find out.
One of the OG World of Warcraft writers when the game was sweet. He's doing all of our lore work, well, with us, with our input. So that's super sweet as well. The Parallax scene is literally kicking off, and we've got a number of them lined up to keep that story going throughout the game. Talking story, anytime we do a big live ops event, it will come with a punch of story. Okay, we want that lore to be alive, and it will be an event. Yeah, we're thinking world bosses. We're thinking kind of like dropping dungeon mutations with basically something where it's like, damn, what's coming next? And that's the type of vibe we want with people playing Godforge. Okay, so
That's really cool. One of the biggest critiques that I think Plarium has been under fire for, particularly from Jay Giggs, is that their events are boring. Every year, it's the same shit, just with cake. It's I will say that the Odin event dungeon was a cool thing, but it took them 5 years to do something cool and interesting. And I'm not going to go into detail on why I dislike it, but in typical Plarium fashion, it was a cool idea with poor execution. So that's a topic for another video entirely. Let's stay positive and keep getting hyped for Godforge.
So we're going to launch with about 250 heroes. That's the plan. About 80 of them have already been built, and a number of the bosses have already been built as well. So we've got 10 different factions here, and they're all related to or connected to different mythologies in our world. But ultimately, it's our take on it, and we can do whatever we want. If down the future we want to create our own completely unheard of different mythologies in our world. But ultimately, it's our take on it, and we can do whatever we want.
That's the important thing. They have created, like, they are the makers of this game. They're going to make it the way they want to make it. I've already seen people making posts in the Discord like, oh, Beowulf was a Viking. He wouldn't be wearing shorts. I'm like, who cares if he's wearing shorts? He's got those thick, meaty man thighs, and he wants to show them off. Let him show off his thick, meaty man thighs. It looks cool. Like, it's a game. I already know 100% there's going to be, like, history nerds like, well, actually, Aphrodite did it. Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. I know you think you're being cool by correcting them on how they're inaccurate on certain things, but you're being that guy that nobody likes when you do that. You're being that guy. Just don't be that guy. I used to be that guy, and I realized people hated it, so I stopped doing it. And you know what? I found that people like me a lot more when I'm not trying to be a smarty pants know-it-all. So take this advice from me. You'll be much happier and live a much better life if you're not being that guy all the time. Just enjoy the game. It's fine. It looks cool. Just let it go.
If down the future we want to create our own completely unheard of gods, we can do it. But for now, we're basically taking 10 different regions. So the Varage here is basically like a Slavic area, Romania, Slavic type of world. Aaru is like our Egyptian theme.
So it's not going to be shown in this video, but while they were at Gamescom in Germany, they were talking to Maladin on the Magic Media team, and they were asking him what his favorite hero is that he's designed so far, and he said Dracula. So we haven't seen any art assets for Dracula, but it's highly likely that Dracula will be in the game, and he is going to be from this faction right here.
Avalon is kind of like the British Celtic type of vibe. So Kyber is going to be more like the Aztec vibe. Saga is like Indian, Hindu, that type of thing. Kajii is Japanese. Olympus is going to be your Greek, which is probably those in the Aaru are going to be some of the most well-known gods and legends. Jade is based on the kind of like Chinese style. Ekur is like Babylon type of area. And then Asgard is like your Norse. So each of them got their own identity and got their own faction of heroes. So some of our factions are more fleshed out than others. This is the Varage kind of like I guess, theming for concept levels. So you've got Baba Yaga here, which is kind of like a well-known, I guess, is it like a fairy tale? I'm not sure. But anyway, a well-known kind of lore from the Slavic world. The hut of Baba Yaga, a forest clearing in the middle, a rickety hut perched atop chicken legs and surrounded by a fence made of human bones. So you can kind of get the different theming here for what's coming in for the level design and the type of color scheme. So each of the different concepts in is
That
going
looks
to have
really
a different
nice.
color scheme. Our style of combat is very much this kind of like cinematic view, which you might have seen. So if you come over and follow Fateless YouTube channel,
Who's that handsome guy? Sorry.
we do a video every week showcasing the game, showcasing the development, and we'll.
Oh, it's this video right here where they talk about they don't talk about. They briefly mention Dracula. Hold on.
We do a video every week showcasing.
This one right here. Not this one. This is the guy that likes boobies. This is the one where he mentions Dracula right here.
Showcasing the game, showcasing the development, and we also do a podcast talking about stuff gaming as well. So you should
Alex is the other guy's name. Maladin is the one who mentioned Dracula.
come and join that if you're interested in the project at all, where we show off more of the game, like the gameplay, that type of stuff. But yeah, we have this kind of, I guess, cinematic world, so we can get right in close.
I love this view. I will admit, the very first time that I saw it, I was like, "What is this view? Like, what is that?" And I wasn't fond of it at first glance, but the more I see it, the more it grows on me. I'm actually actively fond of it now, and I would be sad if they changed it. Now that I've grown accustomed to it, it looks really good in my opinion.
To the different concepts. So we don't have too many heroes in this faction fleshed out yet. We've got a lot of the concepting done, but this is
I'd be willing to bet that Alex designed this view right here. I'm just kidding.
Maria Morevna. It's going to be a warrior style for us, and
So he says warrior style. That can mean one of two things. One of two things: a slayer or a brawler. It would be interesting to see a petite lady figure as a brawler, but also, slayer would be cool too. Or maybe there's a sixth hero classification we're not aware of yet called the warrior. Who knows? But I'm inclined to believe it's going to be like brawler or slayer. But yeah, we'll see.
you can see how the work is done to understand the cultures, understand the type of weaponry they might use based on lore, based on fragments of information we can get. Very cool, kind of like different visual style for what we're going for. Actually, this is very different to a number of our different factions right now. We have a lot more fleshed out for the Aaru, though, the Egyptian faction. So you can see the kind of level designs here. Yeah, we still got the kind of like three-wave approach in this level. We've also got this kind of reliquary or secret room area that you can go into if you can unlock it. So this is like a discovery system within our game and different call outs to the Aaru factions.
So I actually made a video talking about the reliquaries and what I think will be hidden behind them. I'll put a link to that at the end. But I go on to speculate that we could be seeing special, unique, one-of-a-kind items, such as potentially like Excalibur and the like. And I go deep into why I believe all those things, and I show evidence of... I'll link it at the end. You can watch it if you want.
You can kind of see what that looks like when you're zoomed in and you get a better view. One of the more recent concepts that came through here, which is the workshop of Ptah, I think I'm saying that right, which is very sweet.
Every single one of these concept art things just blows me away. They look so damn good, dude. I don't know what this portal is, but I want to go through it. I can't wait to see what's on the other side of that. These look so freaking amazing.
I really like the color scheme here. Very, very cool level concept art, which will go into the next level of development. We've got some big hitters.
Like, this just makes me think of like World of Warcraft and the Dark Portal. Like, that leads into Outlands. Like, but it's got a totally different vibe to it. Like, but I just want to go through that damn portal. I need to see what's on the other side. I love this.
In this faction. So this is a close-up of Ra. You can see the level of quality of visual that's going into the workmanship. And this is kind of like
so good,
almost like magma veins, which have been built in to his design. If we actually look at his original concept you can see what we're going for with Ra. Cool weaponry. It's kind of like smoldering feel to his skin as he's got the power of the sun running through his veins. He's literally shedding his skin.
That is so freaking cool. It reminds me of Dr. Manhattan from The Watchmen. That's what that reminds. I got that same kind of vibes. I know it's like a completely different thing, but that's just what I think of when I see that. It's really cool.
While he's standing still. So Ra looking very sweet. We've also got some very cool, unique style visuals on heroes like the Sphinx here. We've gone for a female Sphinx, so different to what you might expect.
I'm inclined to believe this will be the boss at the end of the Aaru level of campaign. Obviously that's just speculation, but that's what I'm led to believe. The fact that she's being adorned with Aaru faction symbol could be on the chest plate, or maybe this is a playable character. I mean, we've seen like Dracomorph, like a four-legged winged, in Raid Shadow Legends. It wouldn't be too far outside the stretch of imagination to think we could have something similar or in that vein in Godforge. Because like, why? I guess it could be a boss at the end of campaign, or it could be a collectible hero, or it could be both. Mortu Macabre is the final boss of campaign in Raid Shadow Legends, but he's a collectible champion in Raid, so this could be a 2-for-1.
Generally, in lore, Sphinxes for Egyptian were female. Trying to remember where the male ones.
Also, there's another Godforge content creator out there called Ragewood, and when he was reacting to the previous Fateless video where they first, like the premiere that they did, where they first showed the first art assets for the Sphinx, he was reacting to that, and he mentioned that the Sphinx are known to like confuse your enemies. But we already know from looking at Aphrodite's kit that there's going to be a confuse debuff in the game, and it's likely going to be some form of crowd control. So that's really interesting. I'd be interested to see if they work that into her kit.
Were from, but it was actually a different region, so got a very never-ending stories type of vibe.
I love
and
that
Sphinx
movie.
Is now being modeled into 3D as well, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. Anubis, who's looking very, very cool with his kind of like big scythe, and again we've got him in game with
something that you see in World of Warcraft. I don't know if they're going to add this or not, but they could add some sort of red particle effect that emanates off the shoulders to make it look like there's still actively blood dripping down, rather than having these like stalagmites of blood just stationary and not actually dripping. I don't know if that would look good or not, but something to think about. Just having like a red like particle like dripping off, like a glowy effect. I don't know.
With VFX popping off already.
Those elbow guards look sick, by the way. Just one of the coolest designs for sure. There's just every time, like, the more you look at it, the more you discover, and it all looks impeccable. Like, it's just so good. The Magic Media is freaking killing it, man.
Kind of get a flavor of what that looks like. Yeah, the Aaru faction is really, really looking strong. And we take a look at some of the assets now made for the Avalon factions. This is like that Celtic feel, a lot of greenery, very British, I guess, style with the kind of vibes, lots of forestry, this kind of like Celtic vibe going on some of the statue work. And then we've got that then plays through in the level design as well, some of the concepting we've done. And again, it just kind of like gives you a feel for what the different environments will play and look like. Now, the Avalon is where you get the kind of like King Arthur lore, Lady of the Lake, the Fisher King. This is the concepting that was done for the Fisher.
In the last video, he was showing animations of one of the units doing like a shield bash attack, and it makes me so sad that, well, I guess it's not too late. They could change something, but I would love to see King Arthur do a shield bash with that big ass shield, man. And if it doesn't have a stun debuff attached to that like shield bash skill, then I'll be really disappointed.
Lore, Lady of the Lake, the Fisher King. This is the concepting that was done for the Fisher King, who is basically I'm not sure if he's a protector of the Grail or the one who found the Grail, but ultimately he's dead. And yeah, looking very, very badass here. We have got Merlin. Merlin was one that I showcased.
This is so good. I I'm not one who is like super huge into like mythology and history and legends and all that stuff. I like to see new original characters every time I engage with some form of media. However, the way that they're designing these heroes makes me I don't feel like I'm engaging with some sort of rehashed, overdone 1,000 times stuff. Like I've never seen Merlin depicted this way. This looks so freaking good. Like Anubis looks so freaking good. Like all of the heroes just look amazing. This staff alone is just like this serpentine, like this, the dragon-esque features to it, the toad on top, the way it twists into vines, and then you've got this like amethyst gem on the bottom. It just looks, it's like perfect. And the spell book looks insane. Like it all looks so freaking good. I can't get over, like, I'm so excited to play this game.
Just the other day. So real kind of like hard work gone on to do some of the call outs. You've got like the dragon wings here. We've got the toad on the weapon. Yeah, the sort of worm drake on the weapon as well with the amethyst kind of like base. Just very cool, like specific call outs to the different heroes we're doing. We've got Mordred here done in 3.
So Mordred is like the bastard son of King Arthur. I did a little research when they first showed the art assets for him. But yeah, this at first the community was trying to figure out who this is when we saw an image during one of the podcasts, and they were thinking it was an owl, but this is actually like a two-headed griffin or something, or two-headed eagle, something like that.
3D, the Dark Knight. We've got someone again very different, Dagonet here, who again is kind of made now into 3D. He's got animations, but
they showcased his animations in the last video that they posted on the Fateless channel. You should check that out if you haven't seen it yet.
But the kind of like jester turned knight, which King Arthur turned on. So yeah, really, really interesting faction. The Green Knight, kind of like vibe for him.
It looks so good.
Really cool to see that the heroes develop from initial 2D mock-ups to full 3D, and then with their weapon, and then with their animations. And let's not forget that we need a dragon as well. So call him YDG because his name's too hard to say. It's like Y Dragosh or something like that. It's a Welsh name, but you can kind of get a vibe.
That top view looks so sick. I mean, I know he's not going to look like this in game. He's going to be moving around, and this is just like to get the modeling done, but it looks so good, man.
Monster Dragon is animated. It's going to be very, very sweet to see. But yeah, Avalon faction is looking very, very cool. Kyber faction. Again,
there's Billy up on the altar. Poor Billy.
Very sweet level designs in the Kyber faction. We don't have that many heroes developed yet, but I'll show you a couple. But the level design feels very, very cool.
So
and again,
good.
We've really gone into some detail around some of the call outs of the artwork, the buildings, making sure that we get the right type of materials, the right type of feel for each of these different things. And we've pushed the limit, I think, on certain assets because we will be up close and in the mix for the combat. Yeah, here's another one here, the Temple of Kukukun, which again, because you're going to be up close.
It's so good. It has no right to be this good. It looks so freaking sick, dude. Whoever's doing these concept arts, I guess it's down here at the bottom.
And personal, you're basically going from one level to level as you're getting your way towards the boss. And yeah, very, very sweet call outs. So this is pretty sure it's a common, the Eagle Archer here from that kind of like Aztec vibe. Again, already modeled. This is 3D in game. And then we've got a concept in here for Exolotl, I think is how you say it.
Dude.
But again, badass, honestly. This is kind of like, okay.
If I pull this champion, my daughter's going to love it because she plays Minecraft and they have these little axolotls in the game. Dude, these look so good.
Well, front view, back view, side view. This is what we do for the 3D artists to be able to, do that kind of modeling work really well and make sure they get all the detailing that we want. Right, onto the Svarga. This is the only faction where we don't actually have a hero yet because I don't know, they're going to be more complex. Forearm stuff is just harder to animate. We're basically working our way up to this, but
when I watched this morning and I heard him say forearm stuff is harder to animate, I thought he was talking about like the forearm. It didn't occur to me until right now that he means things with 4 arms. That's too funny. Okay, sorry.
We've done a bunch of the sort of level concepting here. Again, making sure we got the right type of callouts. I mean, the color schemes and the concepting feels sweet to me. But yeah, it's just early.
This has been one of my favorite images released so far. Like this, it just looks so damn good, man. It looks too cool. If they can make it look like half this good when they actually build it in 3D, it's gonna be amazing.
Days on the Saga. Compare that to Kajii, where we are well on our way, honestly, to some awesome stuff. So again, we can kind of look at some of the callouts for our level designs, and trying to make sure that we keep the right type of visual feel, type of courtyard, how people will be in the mix, and how that looks from like a gameplay type of vibe. And you can see some of the environments now brought into 3D in engine. We've got kind of like this volcanic environment where you will.
So we're seeing two completely separate maps, I guess. But something that they're doing in Godforge, that they've already talked about in several videos past, is they're going to have these like interchangeable like Lego block pieces. So each time you do a dungeon or a campaign level, it could look different. Like they have different pieces of the map that are going to be interchangeable. So this looks like two different levels, but this could very well be the exact same level, just with different pieces inserted into it. So that's kind of interesting.
We'll see kind of running lava going on. We've got the courtyard here for the dojo, probably a boss arena type of vibe. Got the moonlight coming in when the technical artists get to play with what's going on. We do have heroes like Musashi already built, already developed in 3D, fully animated. So yeah, this is going to be probably one of my favorite factions, honestly, because there's just so much kind of like cool lore, cool artwork, and yeah, cool heroes in this one. So for the Olympus faction, we're going to get that kind of real feel of...
I think Zeus is going to be either the first fusion or possibly a permanent fusion inside the game. Again, I go into detail speculating as to why. I will also link that video at the end of this one if you want to watch it.
The columns, the statues, that type of regal feel. Yes, we're in the Midas Palace here, which is going to be one of our boss locations. The big hitters, the Leonidases, Artemis, the Hercs, like very, very cool heroes in this faction. We do have a couple which are being like fully fleshed out. I don't know, comment down below. Do you know which one?
So this skill that Aphrodite right here is doing, it has a chance to place stun or confuse depending on your accuracy and resistance compared to the enemy. But you see it place a stun here, so we never actually see the confuse. And therefore we don't actually have a chance to see what confuse does. But we do know that there is a confuse debuff in the game, unless they just, made something up off the top of their heads when they were slapping this together for the demo.
Couple which are being like fully fleshed out. I don't know, comment down below. Do you know which one this one is?
Hades!
Onto the Jade, which is like the Chinese themed. We've got the Great Wall type of area concepting out. Some of the cool statues here are really sweet, actually. Again, really, really love this type of visual. Check this out as a concept for level art. Really great. And then we've got heroes that are already made. So
one minor note. Now, this does look really good. The one thing that kind of bothers me a little bit is like the glare that's coming off of his beard. It almost makes it look like his beard is made of like plastic or glass or something. But aside from that one, minor thing, that's obviously like super easily fixed. Like you can see his scales look matte and they're not reflecting the light, but his beard is, and maybe his beard is wet or something. I don't know. It doesn't look like it's made of hair. It looks like it's made of plastic or something. I don't know. Minor note, but other than that, everything else looks great about it.
Zulong is done. Pangu, who is going to be one of the legendaries here with the axe, which was the World Splitter, I think this was called. Basically created yin and yang, which is the kind of theming of the axe. Super sweet concept on this one.
If you would like to know more about his story, I have a YouTube short that goes into detail in that.
We've got Yan Wang already created with his kind of basically his eyes in his hat. No, it's kind of like the Overlord of Death or something like that for the Chinese factions. Very, very sweet. And that was based off of this type of concept in here. Really cool. So really different aesthetics based on the different factions we're in. With 2 factions to go then. So we've got the Ekur here with this kind of like Babylon, some Materian type of vibe. Again, you've got the Ishtar Gate, you know, the Aqueduct sort of feel. This then like lends itself to some in-game assets that we've already got that we're working through. We've got heroes like Shamash, who is a sun god for this faction, and he has already been made in 3D for us and is currently being animated as well. So Shamash is looking super sweet, giving his fiery glare, which leads us honestly to Asgard as the final faction to talk about. And I think the concepting for the level designs for Asgard is awesome. It's really, really well done. I love the visuals. I love the color schemes. Again, some of these 3D assets already.
Dude, so not only does the Bifrost Way here look just super sick and amazing, look at the castle in the background, man. Like, I want to just go hiking up this mountain and explore through that castle. It looks so cool.
Most of the 3D assets are actually already made for what we're seeing here. Got a massive hammer here. And I guess this is going to be the big reveal because this hero was finished yesterday, which is our version of Freya.
It's cool when you look at the sword because it looks like it ties into like the color scheme of the Bifrost Way that we already just saw. It says Lynx short sword. Oh, there's the head of a lynx and the pommel. Okay, cool.
And honestly, so pleased with the final visual. So good.
Yeah, that looks really nice.
Really well done. Texture on the wings, texture on the armor. Such a cool visual of Freya here. You kind of see the different elements. Vidar, who's going to be one of the kind of like the warriors. We've got Beowulf, who was kind of like concepted out.
We got a YouTube short going over the story of Beowulf as well. If you haven't seen that, you should check it out.
And then made into 3D here. There's been some videos about him as well from other content creators that are covering Godforge. This is another new one that's just come through as well as a concept, which is Ran. She's kind of like connected to the water, to the sea, I guess. Very cool. So yeah, okay. I mean, hopefully that gives you a good flavor of where we're at, what we're doing. As I say, we're still on track. We can't wait to get people playtesting this in our beta. Make sure you can sign up. And yeah, I will keep you updated probably in about another 3 months when we do the next big reveal. So you go, I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you soon.
Bye, Simon. All right, that's all. Let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.